And then I purchased another mini program at the end of July as well. You can see where this is going. All of these things were really good. I had about 7 different voices in my head telling me what I should focus on, and a lot of these things were conflicting. I've signed up for so many mini programs recently, and it has honestly been something which has held me back more than has actually moved me forward. And don't get me wrong, all of these programs were good. All of them were helpful. All of them were really great programs, and they all helped with that specific thing that they were saying to help with. And at the same time, there is so much freaking information out there nowadays. It is so easy for us to get overwhelmed, just be consumed with just so much information and knowledge of just what we should be doing, how we should be perfecting each area, that it can become the thing where in the pursuit of all this extra knowledge and all these extra skills, we kind of just get ourselves stuck. And I noticed myself falling into that pattern over the last month. So I wanted to pull out the camera and actually talk about this and have a conversation about this, because I just got off of a call for one of those mini programs and I kind of left feeling like I've learned some things and it's been really helpful. And also, I probably didn't need to know this. This wasn't something which was actually essential for me. And in an era where there is just so much noise and everyone is, rightly so, being very polarizing, talking about what we should and shouldn't be doing, there is so much noise out there. And it is so easy for us to just be pulled in so many different directions on what we should be focusing on, when actually you getting focused, you simplifying and doubling down on what actually matters is the thing that is going to move the needle versus the extra mini program. So let's talk about the adventure that I went on in the last few months. So in July, I purchased one of my first mini programs, and this was really, really good. It was really helpful. I found it very valuable. It shifted how I did content a little bit, and it was really good. And then I purchased another mini program at the end of July as well. You can see where this is going. And then in August, I went to a live event as well, where there was, again, lots of speakers talking about lots of different things we should be focusing on and we should be doing. Then I purchased another 3-week mini program. And then in September, I did another 3-day mini program and another 5-day mini program as well. And then I just got back from another event as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, and all of these things were really good. And I learned something from every single one of these. And at the same time, I had about 7 different voices in my head telling me what I should focus on, what I should be doing right now, and how I should be doing things as well. And a lot of these things were conflicting as well. Because the thing is, I'm gonna say it straight up as a business coach, that most strategies are valid. Most strategies do work. If you were to go and put all of your money into ads right now, you can absolutely make that work for selling that course. If you were to decide you're going to do organic marketing, that can absolutely work. If you're going to decide you're going to, do events, that can absolutely work as well. All strategies do work to an extent, and that's where it becomes so tricky. And your biggest challenge as a business owner is actually figuring out, what strategy are you going to focus on? Where are you going to put your time and energy? That is your biggest question. We think it's the question of what is going to work, when actually most things would work. It's how do you want to do things? What's going to work for your schedule, your lifestyle? What's going to fit around with your offer, your ideal client? All of those questions are the ones to actually be asking. And we almost get suckered into this question of what is going to work and think that, okay, if I take this mini program, they're going to tell me what is the answer, what is the thing that is working at the moment, when actually the answer is a lot of things are working at the moment. There's several different ways we could be doing this. And I found that it's so easy, being inside the mini programs and being inside just lots of these smaller experiences to get differing views, but where both of them are actually correct. So for example, one of the mini programs I did a couple of months ago, she was really talking about the idea of volume when it comes to content and just putting out more things, and essentially saying, she's saying, I want you to post twice a day, every single day, and see how that goes. And just really focus on volume, focus on not overthinking what you're saying, which is really good advice, right? And I did that for a little bit. And then also I was in a different program where she was saying, okay, actually I want you to focus on quality and focus on each post landing more and just resonating more. So I want you to be posting twice a week instead of twice a day. And both of these sides are valid. Both of these do work. Focusing on the volume and not overthinking and just putting things out there is really good advice. And at the same time, it is really good advice to be saying, focus on the quality and actually focus on doing less but better. That is really good advice as well. Both of those things are valid, but they're completely opposite. And this is where it is so easy to start feeling so stuck, because you're hearing all of this differing advice and you're almost being poured in so many different directions that you're changing up your own strategies every few weeks. You're spending all your time focusing on, should I be doing this instead of the thing you are actually doing? And to be honest, it just leads to us building businesses which are kind of a patchwork of other people's, right? We're building things based on this one thing that this person told me I should do, and this one strategy that she said was working really well right now. And we're just pulling together everyone else's to make this patchwork that becomes our own business instead of actually checking in with ourselves, and we almost lose our own voice in that process. And I think it's so easy, especially when there are so many damn good mini programs. All of these are so good, the ones that I was in, and they are really, really appealing, right? The idea of let's focus for a few days on this specific topic. I love that, and I'll probably do one myself at some point. But at the same time, it's so easy for them to just become more confusing and for it to feel like it's pulling you away from where should you even be focusing, and just leading to this back and forth pull of, should I be posting more content or should I be focusing on more quality, for example? And I think overall, regardless of mini programs, this is a conversation we need to be having right now, because especially with social media, posts themselves are just more polarizing nowadays. We are really taught that idea of, okay, have a strong opinion, share what you're standing for, share your certain way of doing things. And that means that every time we're scrolling through the feed, every time we're seeing any content, we're seeing 10 different people's different approaches to doing that certain thing. And we're seeing 10 people tell us with conviction, as they rightly should, in their content, with conviction why their approach is the way to be doing things, is the way to hit 6 figures this year. And it makes it really tricky because all of those are valid, and then you're almost left scrolling, and then it just gets you more confused and it gets you more stuck because you're then spending time debating, should I actually be doing this instead? Or maybe I should try this for a couple of weeks. And we just go back and forth. And that is the biggest thing that I'm seeing keeping people really stuck right now, is the fact that our strategies and how we're doing things and just our business model isn't long-term anymore. We're doing these short-term sprints, essentially, of we're trying out one certain way of doing things for a week. We're trying out this new marketing strategy we learned for a month. We're trying out this new launch and this new offer for a few weeks. We don't do anything long-term. We're not really building something that we still want to be running in 5 years' time. And we're not actually building strategies that we're going to be keeping for 5 years as well. We're building things based on what someone told us is working right now. And we're kind of approaching it from that perspective of, I'm going to give this a try and we'll see how this works, versus picking something we actually know we want to do, knowing that everything will work. And this is a conversation I have with clients so often, just really talking about the fact that kind of all strategies do work, right? There's not one specific strategy which is going to be the thing for you versus anything else. When we're looking at your business, your ideal client, your offer specifically, how you want to build your business, that's when we can figure out what is the strategy for you specifically. But generally, there's not this one strategy is working right now. I know clients who are having huge successes with courses right now. At the same time, I know some clients who courses just haven't really worked that well for them, and one-to-one is their area. I know other clients who events is their area. There is not just one thing which is working, and it is so helpful to then really cut out that external noise and tuning with yourself on what do you want to really be building, because you're going to get so much more traction focusing on that versus that short sprint of what someone says is working in the moment and you not sticking with that thing long enough because it doesn't actually align with you. It was just what someone else told you should be doing, and then switching and pivoting towards something else. And I think a lot of the times we do invest in mini programs or group programs or things like that because we feel like we're missing something. We feel like we're needing that extra push forward. And we feel like if I get this information, if I learn from this person, they're gonna have the big secret and they're gonna tell me the thing, and then that's gonna be what pushes me forward. And I see so many people who come to work with me after being in that experience. I've been in that experience myself, where you almost then leave those experiences having just so much noise because you've, done the right thing and invested in all the programs and hired 5 different mentors and done all of those things. And they're all telling you different things. And one believes you should really focus on your mindset. Another believes you should really focus on action. Like, they're all telling you different things, and it just becomes really noisy, and it makes business feel really freaking complicated when it did not need to be in the first place. actually the biggest thing you can do for progress all the times is get simplified with your support. Get really streamlined, really focused, get the high level support versus going for 10 different mini programs that are just going to confuse you even more. Having just one approach that you're following, one strategy you're following, that is the thing that's going to make it easier for you to see any progress with that one thing. Again, knowing that all strategies will really work for you. There's not a one standout, but actually you sticking with that thing is going to be what gets you the progress there versus trying to find the answer in any smaller programs like that. And I realized this really quickly with that mini program cycle of after the second one, I would say, I realized, okay, I just have too much information in my brain right now that is really unnecessary. Like I do not need to be obsessing over my content this much. This is not the thing that I need to be doing right now because, clients are coming in anyway. We're making sales through the other sales pathways I have. Like this is not a thing I need to be obsessing over right now. It's really not a priority. And a lot of those later mini programs I have joined more recently have been really just for making connections and just for connecting with people. That has kind of been my main motivation versus me learning anything. And I've intentionally decided that a lot of the calls I will not go to, a lot of the modules for those, like I will not consume those because I just don't need this information. And I think we've really come out of this information age where we're trying to just consume as much as possible because we're realizing that actually that is not helpful to us, especially with ChatGPT. Like you can find the answer to anything in 3 seconds. Let's be so for real. If you're asking what is working right now in, Instagram marketing, for example, put that into ChatGPT, you're going to have the answer in 5 seconds. And this is not what we're needing right now because there's not this shortage of information. We have information everywhere. There's literally people shouting at us constantly every single day in the feed of what we should and shouldn't be doing. Information is not the problem. Focus is the problem. The problem is where do I actually put my time and energy with all of this information, knowing these 10 different strategies and knowing so many different ways that I could launch this offer and I could sell this and I could run this program. There's so much information around there. It's distilling that and it's getting focused and it's simplifying where your energy is actually going. That is the hard part. That is where you need to be focusing right now. And I really think this is why we are seeing just high-level support really thriving right now and high-level programs, so one-to-one support, masterminds, those types of environments. We are seeing that really thrive right now. VIP days as well. We're seeing a lot more of those and a lot more people are jumping into those versus any mid or smaller experiences. And I think, the small experiences, the mini programs absolutely have their purpose. They are the perfect place to dip your toe in the water with someone you have, been considering working with. You've been thinking about it and get a little bit of a taste and then make a move after that. But staying in the mini program cycle, it's just keeping people stuck at the moment. The mid-tier programs, the group programs are, not quite offering the level of support that people need. And they're almost just relying more on, again, that information, the modules, and just really information heavy, which again, people don't really need right now. It is the high level support that I'm seeing for myself and my clients really thriving at the moment. That is what people are looking for because it does just distill all of this information. It means that you're not just consuming, you're not just sitting back and watching more modules, getting more information, learning more strategy, because that is not what you need. You know all of that stuff. You've been through the programs. You've probably, like myself, bought so many courses that you have to count them. I literally made a list on my notes app like 6 months ago, listing all the courses that I've actually bought because I was like, I can't even remember half of these. And I know that if I do want to go back to something, like if I want a course on content, I have a course on content because I bought it a year ago. I just forget what those things are. So I literally made a list of every single course that I've actually purchased that I can go back to because there's just so many that I literally will forget otherwise. But this is why, again, I think one-to-one and masterminds, VIP days are really standing the test of time. I have built my entire business around one-to-one coaching for literally 4 years now. It's made nearly $250,000 cash for me. And this program has stood the test of time. It has been so successful because it allows us to not just throw information at you, but get really focused with where your attention energy is going. I'm not just giving you 100 different modules and saying, go watch this. We are talking about your specific situation constantly. We're talking about your business, your ideal client, your messaging, and your offer. And all the strategies are built around that. And it makes it really easy to see where should I actually be focusing, because as I said, there's so many strategies that work. There's not many that don't work if you're seeing people talking about them. It's just about what's going to work for you specifically. And that is where that high level support really comes in, because it means that rather than you take 100 different mini programs and try and figure out what is going to work for you, test all the different things and go through 12 months of guesswork, you get to just have this strategy within a few weeks, implement it, and know it's actually going to work because it's been proven across clients of that coach who have actually worked with that specific client, who have worked with that specific offer, etc. Like, I can see the patterns across my clients so easily, and that's what makes it easy to actually support new clients with what strategies are they utilizing, because I've seen these patterns before and because it is so personalized, because it is one-to-one. On that note, before we dive into the final wrap up of my thoughts on this conversation overall, I wanted to share with you that one-to-one coaching spaces for 2026, I can't believe I'm saying that, are officially open. So if you're interested in working with me, go to the link in the description and schedule a discovery call, and we will talk about your business, your goals, and how I can support you going into the next year to have your biggest year yet with one signature offer and simplifying every single strategy in your business to take that one signature offer to the six-figure mark. So again, make sure you go to the link in the description. I have some Black Friday offers coming up for one-to-one coaching, so you will qualify for those if you book a discovery call before then. So the big takeaway from just these months of mini programs, essentially we'll call it for me, is that I think you have to use mini programs so specifically. If you know that there's a really big gap that you're trying to fill and there comes along a mini program for that, absolutely sign up for it. If you are considering working with that person and you're wanting to get a little bit of a taste of what it's like to work with them, to be in their space, and a mini program comes along, absolutely go for it. I think it's a great kind of trial to see what it really looks like to be in their spaces. But actually getting yourself out of the habit of just buying lots of mini programs and just consuming lots of information, thinking that information is the thing that you need, that is the thing which we want to be talking about here, because that is the thing which I'm just seeing keeping so many people stuck right now, just having all the information, but the implementation action is not there because they just don't have the support around that, because, you know, the program ended, it was 10 days, right? And we threw the information at you, but we didn't really help you with what to do with actually putting that into place. So actually having that implementation support is really important, and also just freaking going for the high level support. I think that is something where, again, I see so many clients come and start working with me who are kind of just wanting things to be simpler because they've had so much noise for so long, because they've been in so many different programs and been in lots of mini experiences, taken the courses, and they just have all the knowledge in their brain, but they're not really sure where to focus. They're not really sure how they can just simplify everything in their business, essentially. And this is why, again, my messaging talks about this so much, because business has almost become more complicated the more easily accessible information is, because now we just have so many could-dos in the business of where we could be focusing that we just get so stuck and we end up not getting results because we're focusing on the areas that aren't actually going to move the needle for us. So this is your reminder as we approach the end of the year to just really pause for a second, really assess where is going to be the area you need to focus on right now. And I guarantee for 80% of you listening to this, that area is actually, I need to just distill all this information. I don't need more information. I don't need to learn another content strategy because you have 5 of them already. You've probably purchased some courses, I'm guessing. Actually, what you need to do right now is just get really focused. You need to streamline all this down. You need a really clear strategy going into 2026. You are not throwing spaghetti at the wall and just guessing with strategies and trying this out for a couple of months. Instead, you know what you're selling. You have one really clear offer. You have one really clear message behind this, and you have your sales pathways for how people are going to get there. That is it. And then you follow that for the entire year. It might sound boring on paper, but once you have that stable foundation and the consistent income coming in from that boring foundation, you can have as much fun as you like. You can go create some mini programs. You can go create the thing that you've always wanted to do. Once you have that stable just income and clients coming into that specific program, that is such a foundational piece, which just gives you so much freedom in your business. So again, that's what I work with inside of one-to-one coaching. So if you're interested in that, make sure you go to the link in the description to schedule a discovery call. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed the kind of coffee chat style without coffee, then let me know in the, not in the description, oh my gosh, let me know in the comments. And if you are still here to the very end of the video, I'd love if you drop a coffee emoji as well, so I can just celebrate you watching the full video. And yeah, if you want more of these chats, let me know. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a like if you liked it, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the new videos every Monday. And I will see you in the next one.